Anyone who has seen one or more of my videos will note that I speak English as my first language. I speak another language, French, but I'm most comfortable in English. I think in English as it normally goes. I also was raised in the Western liberal tradition, i.e., whatever you like to do, as long as you're not harming anyone else, that's fine. I was raised in the system that says you should go out and get a job, you should live a certain way, you should think certain thoughts, that kind of thing. I am a product of the Western English-speaking world. To suddenly ask me to change that is a little bit too much, especially at my age. I'm 45 now. It's unlikely that I would ever be able to make such a change, i.e., I couldn't probably suddenly start to live as a Russian or a Zulu. It's just not likely to happen. That is not really something that's racial or immutable. In other words, English is nothing racial. Being a Western liberal is nothing racial. Living a certain way, living the way I do, thinking the way I think is not racial. So, it should be easy for me to just give that up, because it's not essential to my nature. Well, unfortunately, it just doesn't work that way, as anyone knows. You can't just suddenly change. Now, there's 1.5 billion Muslims on this planet that are taking a lot of flack under a phenomenon known as Islamophobia. Now, what I would like to point out is there seems to be an expectation on the part of some people that they should suddenly stop being Muslims, or they should suddenly start thinking and acting and being just like us. They're subjected to a different set of rules that they grew up in. They grew up speaking Arabic or Urdu or Pashtun or Turkish, as the case may be, any number of languages. They grew up with a certain family structure, certain assumptions, certain holidays that they follow. Their civilization is over 1,000 years old. In fact, it's not just a civilization, it's several civilizations, probably over the course of history, several dozen entire civilizations. They are not likely to suddenly be able to stop doing that. First of all, their very nature would rebel against that, because that's essentially wormed its way into their character, into their sense of existence. The same way that my Western English-speaking liberalism has wormed its way into my existence. It's just part of who I am. I can't change that. I shouldn't expect them to change that. Therefore, if I hold all that against them, I am holding something against them that is part and parcel of what they actually are. In my opinion, it is immutable. Or if it's not completely immutable, it is a very, very big change that we are expecting someone to undergo to meet our standards of what is acceptable. I'm not going to apologize for the harshness of the certain interpretations of Sharia law or certain backward practices followed by certain Muslims. But to ask them to suddenly stop being Muslims, to suddenly stop thinking the way that they've always thought, to suddenly alter their entire, as it were, universe, their entire psychological, mental, emotional, spiritual universe, is simply asking too much. Now, this, I suppose, breeds a certain degree of frustration in people who seem to have something against Islam. They see that the Islamic religion in their mind is shown to be just such rubbish and shown to be so barbaric. Why is it that these people continue to believe it, to follow it? Well, people get frustrated, and then you start hurling either direct or oblique insults. That's where it becomes bigotry, and that coupled with the fact that we are expecting people to alter, basically, their entire selves, puts it into the category of racism with me. We're expecting people to alter who they are. That is not a realistic or even a reasonable expectation. Thank you.